At BOG, what are you doing to assure us that we can go and sleep? And just like the prediction in US, we shouldn't expect another crisis in the next 5 years. When you are over, when you go home for retirement, another person will come and say that, so JSC gave a license to a bank that doesn't deserve to get a license.
Thank you very much, George. I think Madam Bano has made very good observations, and she's expressed some sentiments. It's been indicated by the regulator that the cleanup is over. Yes, and we really meant the cleanup was over.
Your constituents share a different view on that?
But the reforms are not over. The cleanup is over, but the reforms are not over. Yes, and what it means is that, yeah, I know. What it means is that if a bank falls foul of the law, if the rules, the regulations, and the legal framework are not complied with, what the regulator would have to do as far as the law is concerned, I think we will apply the law. If a bank, we find out that, just as Madam indicated, we have come out with the Corporate Governance Directive, and we expect the banks to comply with the directive. All the areas, right from the board, shareholders, internal audits, the component, sorry, the how the board should be constituted, people with diverse backgrounds, and all. We expect that the banks will comply with all these directives. And to add to this, we have also issued the Fit and Proper Persons Directive. Who qualifies, who can be issued with the banking license as a shareholder, who we can describe as fit and proper as far as directorship is concerned, key management staff. We have spelled out these things in the Fit and Proper Persons Directive. And it is expected that the banks will comply. So even though we've come out to say that the cleanup is over, that doesn't mean that we're going to relax and will not enforce the laws. Madam made mention of the fact that we can have dominant shareholders who sometimes will want to control the directors of the bank. You see, the directors have been made aware by means of the Corporate Governance Directive that they have a fiduciary responsibility, and they must take decisions that are the best interests of the bank, especially for the shareholders. If you put 400 million in a bank, and your total asset, the balance sheet size is about 3 billion. You just have 400 million. And you might even have used the part of the 400 million to acquire fixed assets, IT, platforms, and all those things. What we are using to run the business, the resources, the cash, the investment, the loan, everything, they've been created out of depositors' funds. So at the end of the day, you must know that your stake in the business is very small. And you don't look at the cash sitting in your vault and say that I have so much profit, so I'm sharing profit, I'm taking money here and there. You don't have anything. What you are entitled to is profit, and by way of dividends. And this directors must know. Going forward, you ask, what are we doing to ensure that tomorrow when I leave the bank, nobody will call me, maybe to you, Oku, and say that, Mr. Osei Gyasi, you issued a license to somebody, and you shouldn't have issued that license. I can tell you that the necessary structures have been put in place, and people have been made aware that they will be accountable for their actions. We have put in place clearly defined framework for licensing of banks, capital verification, all the procedures are clearly spelled out. And we want to ensure that we enforce them. We have various control levels, people who initiate their transactions, and another person would have to check. And before we issue with the license, we'll make sure that we have ticked all the boxes. And the licenses are not issued just in BSD. we have to make sure that the necessary approvals are given. And whoever is giving the approval will also ask the relevant questions, because the person knows the risk associated with issuing licenses to institutions that do not qualify. The appropriate structures have been put in place. And let me tell you that, in a way, everybody in banking supervision has a performance contract. If you are a relationship manager and you are in charge of some savings and loans, finance houses and banks, you have a performance contract. And at the end of the day, you will be accounted, you will have to account for it. As a head of department, in a way, I have a performance contract. And I want to believe that my superiors also have performance contract. So everybody knows the kind of wind that is blowing. And we have come to the conclusion that what happened in the past should not be carried into the future.